I wanted to get on here today and tell you some stuff about Connor's birth and when we brought him home and some things like that. So I am reading to you some of it today from his child study. Now, let me explain what a child study is. Our social worker sent us a child study of Connor, and what that is all their info. And y'all have heard this story before. I'm pretty sure I've shared it on here. If not, I need to. I think I have. About how, yeah, it's in the adoption story. Probably part 2. Maybe part 1. I'm not sure. Check them both out. Anyway, so what happened was, I'm just going to skip over it briefly, is our social worker sent us a child study about a little boy, and we said we would pray about it. He had Down syndrome. We weren't open to Down syndrome, but we said we'd pray about it. And she's like, well, there's another little boy who's been waiting a really, really long time, and they really want him to find a family before the new year, because Chinese New Year is like a big, huge celebration in China, and that's like their big holiday. I mean, they do Christmas and all that too, but I feel like as much as we celebrate Christmas, that's as much as they celebrate Chinese New Year. It's not really like our New Year where we celebrate, but yeah, you know what I mean? It's a big deal to everybody. So they were really hopeful before Chinese New Year, which is their big holiday, that he would find a family. And so she wanted to send us this other child study, and this child had Down syndrome as well. I feel like because we said we'd pray about the first one, she was like, well, maybe this could be it. Maybe this could be their child. And we were a little frustrated with it because we had already said we weren't open to Down syndrome. And I'll be completely honest, we were going to pray about it. I wasn't lying to her. But the first child study of the first child she sent, when we said we were going to pray about it, we were kind of just being polite. I mean, we were going to pray about it, but we were like, we'll pray about it, but it's not God's plan. You know what I mean? Like, we thought we knew it all, of course. And so when I opened this second child study, up pops this familiar face, because it has their picture also, of this little boy we'd been looking at on the waiting list. Now, when I say we'd been looking at him on the waiting list, it was like, oh my gosh, he's so adorable. Oh, there's new pictures of Thaddeus. Oh, look at this, look at this. But we did not think he was our child. It was just like, oh, we wish he could find a family. He's so cute. I bet he's a little rascal. Look at this, look at this. And they'd put up new pictures, and I'd be like, oh, there's new pictures of Thaddeus. Look at this. Anyway, Connor Thaddeus, he's ours, y'all. He was our child. But anyway, so she sends us this child study, which is more in-depth info than they give on the waiting list. When you are approved to adopt, you can see the waiting list. So it's very vague info. And so a child study is their real name, their real birthday, like way more in-depth info. It has all medical info, where they're living, everything. So let me hide this first page that has his name and all, where he was living and all that. There's even an address. That's a little crazy, I think. But anyway. Okay. So Connor was born at 38 weeks gestation. He had a normal birth. He weighed 7'4", I believe it is. Right here on the paper it's in kilograms, but I'm pretty sure 7'4" was what he weighed, or 7'2", 7'2" or 7'4". And then I'm gonna skip over his family background because that is his birth family and his story to share. I don't feel like I should be out sharing that, but I will tell you that I have everything. I have right here how much his birth mom weighs, her height, where she was born, what she does for a living, what she likes to do during her leisure time, all her health info, and her and Connor's biological dad also. I have all that, which is just amazing to have. Like, it's way in-depth info. So we're gonna skip over to health. Okay. After Connor was born, he developed mild congenital pneumonia, and it was presented, how they figured it out was because he was in respiratory distress. So what they did was, I'll be right back. Whoa, sorry y'all, we had a diaper situation. Hashtag mom life. Okay, so When Connor was born, he had pneumonia. Surprise, surprise, because he has pneumonia all the time. I'm a little bitter toward pneumonia, if you can't tell. Anyway, they also did a genetic workup, and it was confirmed that he had Down syndrome. So when Connor first came home, he's going to come in here and see y'all. You want to see him? He's patching, so don't be alarmed. Oh, say hi. Hi, everybody. So when Connor first came home and he was a lot younger, I could tell, but a lot of people couldn't tell he had Down syndrome. They would say all the time. I have had people ask me, are you sure he has it, and things like that. And yes, genetic testing, he has it, y'all. And it's not sad, so don't feel sorry for us. Anyway, I feel like I'm being so bitter and angry sounding. I don't mean to be that way. Okay, so now that he's got older, I feel like the features are more prominent, and you can definitely tell. So anyway, but yes, right here, he had genetic testing. Okay, so they did a echocardiogram. He had PTA, PFO, and some regurgitation with pulmonary hypertension, which gradually resolved on its own. All that resolved on its own. Amazing. He had, when he was a month old, he had another echocardiogram done, and it showed a small PDA, but it was not, there was no arterial septical defect. I am horrible with medical terms. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. He had another echocardiogram done in March. So let's see, October, November, so he was 6 months old, and the PDA had closed. So the hole in his heart was gone. It closed on its own. Anyway, so he has a good heart. Yay! The heart was something I was definitely freaked out about with Down syndrome, because I knew so many of them do have heart defects and need heart surgery, and it was a huge blessing to find out his heart's okay. And I will talk about going to the cardiologist here and finding out his heart was okay and how awesome it was. Maybe not this video, but I will do it. Maybe this video. Okay. He was admitted to the hospital in September of 2013. He was a year old. He had his first seizure. Now, I am a panicker, y'all. I am a freak outer. I don't know if that's even a word, but I'm a panicker. And I've seen people have seizures. It never gets better, I was going to say. That's not really a good way to put it. It never gets easier. That's probably a better way to say it. It never gets easier for me. I panic every single time. I've never saw Connor have a seizure. Thank you, Lord. But knowing that he has freaks me out a little. So, it says they brought him in. He was found convulsing. He presented with, he had loss of consciousness, blush changes over his face, and twitching of his arms and legs for 15 minutes. So he didn't just have, a little tiny seizure. To me, 15 minutes is, wow, a big deal. It resolved spontaneously on its own. They did an ECG and an EEG. They looked at his brain. And they did blood tests, and all were found fine. He did not have a fever. He did not have anything they could find. So he was discharged from the hospital the next day. He has not had another seizure. Knock on all the wood that's in the world, okay? Because it would freak me out. And I do want to add in here that for those parents who have children with epilepsy, I have the utmost respect for you. I know it becomes a part of your everyday life, and you don't get used to it, but you adapt, I guess. But y'all are amazing. I can't even fathom it. It just scares me to death to even think about. So, I just wanted to throw that in. I think that is mostly all the medical stuff I wanted to talk about. It's all in here, his eating habits, his daily routine, and it's just so amazing. His temperament, all that. It's just so amazing to have all this. And yeah, there's the daily routine, worker's recommendation. This is kind of cool. It says, with a pair of devoted adoptive parents, his birth name, will certainly develop his potentials to the fullest and be the sweetheart of the family. He definitely is. I love that. Okay, so that's all I want to talk about on that. But I will talk about seeing the heart doctor. So let's talk about that. Let me fix this, because I'll be looking at it later and be like, why is that all mixed up? Okay. Connor saw the heart doctor when he came home, and the reason we wanted to do that is they're telling us right here his heart's fine, but we wanted to see and know for ourselves. For one reason is the pediatrician wanted to do that. Obviously, they want to have a full workup, but we also wanted to do that for peace of mind. And so we went to have an echocardiogram. That's all it was supposed to be. We were not supposed to see the doctor. We were supposed to have this echocardiogram. Then the doctor would review it, and then the doctor would let us know, hey, we're all good. Everything looks great. Yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. You know, everything's fine, and that's fully what we expected to hear, but we were a little anxious. Okay, so we go in that day, and we get the echocardiogram done. You know, they stick stuff all over him. He's laying there in a dark room, and we can see his heart and hear it on the monitor. Very cool. And they had a TV playing cartoons. I can't remember what was on, but she did ask us what he liked to watch, and she changed it to something he liked. I can't remember. He wasn't happy. Connor's getting better about it now, but when Connor first came home, you couldn't even put a Band-Aid on him without him losing his mind. He doesn't like stuff stuck to him, so he had this stuff all over his chest. They took his shirt off. He did not want to take his shirt off for them. He's lost all modesty now, but he was super modest then. And so anyway, she's chit-chatting, super nice lady. She's talking. We're just talking about everything. I don't even remember what we were talking about, but I remember just chit-chatting with her. And then she grew silent. And the room grew quiet. And she kept looking and looking, and then she said she would be right back. You never, ever, 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 ever want them to leave your room and tell you they'll be right back when they are examining anything on you, really. And especially my child's heart. So I was a little bit worried. You know, I was starting to get on edge a little. She comes back in the room in a few minutes, and she tells us the doctor has cleared his schedule and he wants to see us. Now, at this point, I'm on the verge of tears. Like, something's wrong. My mommy alert is going off full force. I know something's wrong. I know that this just don't happen. The doctor don't just clear his schedule for the fun of it. She saw something. So she rushed us down the hall. I remember carrying him and just hurrying, just as fast as I could, clutching my purse. I remember just holding on so tight. And we get to the room. They put us in a room, and the doctor came in. Super, super nice guy. And he introduced himself. He talked to Connor. He sat down, and on the paper sheet thing that goes on the bed, he drew Connor's heart. And what had happened was there was fluid around Connor's heart that they did not know was there. And so he showed us, like, this is where his fluid level is. This is where the dangerous fluid level would be. So he was nowhere near a dangerous level. But the problem is they didn't know about this fluid. They didn't know where it was coming from. They didn't know why it was there. And they didn't know if it was increasing. It could have been there for a very long time, but they didn't know. So he said, since danger level's here and you're like here, what I want to do is I want to see you back in 6 months. We'll do another echocardiogram, and if it has risen any, we'll talk about the next steps, because there will be next steps if it has risen, because we can't have that. Something's wrong. So you go home, knowing something's going on with your child's heart, possibly dangerous, you don't know, and then you have to wait 6 months. So it was hard. I wanted him to be seen tomorrow to see if it's risen any. You know what I mean? Like, you're irrational when it comes to your child, and I was. And so I did what he said, though. I waited 6 months. We went back, and I will say that when we went, the first time we didn't wait in the heart waiting room, but we did when we went back. And waiting in that heart area and seeing all these little babies and sick children. Some of them were hooked up to monitors. It just made me so blessed. Connor flittered around that room, playing with everything, touching everything, trying to get near everybody. And I felt extremely blessed because up until that point, we had never been the well child in the room. And in that room, he was the well child. And I just remember it being a humbling experience. It changed me. It really did, because it's a big percent of people with Down syndrome who have heart defects and who have to have open heart surgery. And to know that we're not in that percent, I feel extremely blessed. I always felt extremely blessed about that. But being in that heart waiting room changed me. It really did. And I'm just forever grateful for how it worked out and that I had to be in there. I really am, because it puts things in perspective. And I'm just grateful that it played out the way it did, so that I was able to experience that and have that impact me. So we go back and have the echocardiogram. He did much better with the second one because he realized what was going on. Connor's always like that. It's like he doesn't know what's about to happen. It's like with his specialist now. He's comfortable with them. He's been so many times and like nothing crazy's happened. So he's golden. So he was way more relaxed that time around. We saw the doctor and we got the good news that everything was fine. There was no more fluid than the time before, which means that could have been in there for a while. And it's not at a dangerous level. It's not affecting him because nobody knew about it from listening to him. And so we were discharged. And the heart doctor is the only specialist we've seen that has discharged Connor. Everybody else we see every 3 or 6 months. And to be discharged from, to me, the scariest doctor, because nothing can go wrong with your heart because it's your heart. You can't live without that. You can't live with that. Well, I guess you can live with it part of the way functioning. But y'all know what I mean. It was a blessing to be discharged from the heart doctor. And it was just the way it played out. It blessed me. It touched me. And we are very thankful. We are very grateful. And my heart goes out to all those who have children with heart issues and who have children who have had heart surgeries. And I've seen them come through it. And I've seen them recover just remarkably. And it's just amazing how tough these little fighters are. And I'm just so impressed by them. But I'm so thankful I'm not one of them. I just don't feel like I'm strong enough for it, and I know that I would step up to whatever Connor needs, and we have time and time again. I've done things I never thought I had the strength to do, and I've come through them, and I made it fine. I did okay, but I just have the utmost respect. And so I just wanted to get on here and talk about that today, because I've never really done a video about his heart, and I've done a video about everything else and all the other surgeries and specialists and all that. So I felt I should get on here and talk about his heart, and I just wanted to add in some of the birth info and things. And Connor was hospitalized quite a bit in Hong Kong, as he has here, and he's healthy today, and we're very lucky, and we're very thankful for that. He has been off his meds now for, let's say, like a month and a half. And he started back to school, and I'm really nervous because sickness runs so rampant in schools and he catches everything. So I'm very nervous about him being off his meds. I'm grateful, but he went off during the summer, and yeah, he's been well, but we've been home too. We haven't been around large groups of people, especially lots of kids, and so I'm really nervous. And I'm also nervous because fall is right around the corner, and then we're going to have winter, and it's just really hard to keep them without a snotty nose and a cold and a cough in the winter, for sure. And so I'm extremely nervous about him being off his meds, but I know that we would have never known till we tried. We're never going to know how he does. We're never going to know if he can be off his meds without pulling him off his meds and just seeing how it goes. And so I know this is something we needed to do, even if it goes horribly wrong. I know that there's only one way to find out, and we had to do it. And I felt like doing it during the summer was the best option. It was the best laid out plan, and we're hoping for the best. And I really like him being off the meds. I really, I can't tell a big difference in like his behavior and things, but his nystagmus, which is where his eyes jerk back and forth, it is like, I'm not going to say non-existent because it's still there. It still exists. But it is nowhere near like it was because he was on a steroid every single day. And it's a steroid that makes you jittery. So I've seen a tremendous improvement in that area. And I'm just really excited about that. And but I'm nervous because a lot can go wrong now that we are in the cold and flu season and around all these other kids. So I'm fearful, but I'm hoping for the best. And like I said, we had to try to know. And so that's the way it goes sometimes. It's trial and error. You live and you learn. But once we know, we know. So that's the good news. And so anyway, I just wanted to get on here and talk about that. And everything's going great with school. He's doing really, really good. He's really doing way better than I thought he would. He's doing really good, getting back in the swing of it, and just we're getting into our routine a little bit deeper every day, and things are going really, really good. And I'm loving being at his school. I'm loving taking him home with me every day. I miss my co-workers tremendously. I really, really do. I miss the kids so much, but I am just super happy and super excited. And I guess this is a weird place to put this in, to put it in the heart video, but I'm going to. We lost a very special friend, co-worker, and lady this week. Very, very unexpectedly from the high school. And my heart goes out to him. So if you pray, and I hope you do, please pray for the Wheeler family. They really, really need it. And just pray for our community. We are all shocked, and we are all shook, and we're having a hard time. And so just pray for that, and pray for her students. You know, a lot of times the children we serve don't cope good with their emotions. And when something like this happens, none of us cope good with our emotions, especially when it was a huge shock. It was very unexpected, and they're having a hard time. This was the person who helped them work through their emotions. This was the person who hugged them when they had a bad day, and who talked them through a lot of their feelings, and she's not there. And it's hard. So please pray for her family, and please, please pray for her students, because they're having a really hard time. And life is short, y'all, so I encourage you to be kind. I know I don't do this a lot of times because I'm shy, and I'll blame it on being shy, but if you feel like you're supposed to tell somebody something, tell them, because you may not get another chance, because we never know what tomorrow holds. And if you don't do it when you feel the urge to do it, it may be too late. And so I just encourage you to try to be kinder to others, and try to just spread joy and kindness, and tell those that you love them, and how you feel about them. And I thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you next time.